Well guys, today I'm going to talk about something many of you have been wanting me to talk about all week, and is the craziness that has transpired in the brokerage community with these $0 fees. So now you can all of a sudden buy stocks for $0, sell stocks for $0, a thing that Robinhood had been doing for a while. Now all of a sudden, like, every brokerage house is going to this model. And what people are not seeing is something that's not even in the fine print. And as someone that's been in the market for over 10 years, I've seen a lot of people come and go in this game, and I foresee a lot of problems with this. Everybody's only talking about the good side of this, which we'll discuss, but there's three things that could end up going seriously wrong with this and end up losing people a fortune, and people are not even paying attention to this, okay? So I'm going to try to save you guys a little bit of money today. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video, okay? So Charles Schwab started all off this week, earlier in the week, when they announced their ending commissions on stock trading and brokerage shares that are tanking across the board, okay? A lot of the public companies that basically make money off of brokerage fees, a lot of their stocks tanked hard. And so then as the week went on, next thing you know, TDAmeritrade announced, hey man, we're going to take off our trade commissions as well. You can trade for free now. Etrade did as well. And basically it's not only free to place trades on US stocks, also ETFs, as well as option trades. They dropped their commissions across the board. And you got to ask yourselves, why did all these brokerage houses do this? Why would they just like overnight say, you know what, we're not going to take that $5 fee we charge you each and every time? And sometimes on option trades it could be between $8 and $10. Why else an overnight they decide, well, let's just stop charging this? Well, it's one company at the end of the day, Robinhood, okay? The Robinhood app has changed everything. The Robinhood app has completely changed everything. Now all of a sudden people expect to not have to pay any commission every time they buy and sell a stock. And that is definitely a beautiful thing that Robinhood app has done over time, is basically get a business model built that allows people to place trades without any commission, okay? And so this is amazing. So now all these brokerage houses are starting to move this. There aren't many brokerage houses left that haven't already moved to $0 commissions. And if I had to place money on it over the next month or so, all brokerages in general will charge no commissions on option trades, stock trades across the board, okay? So this is very, very interesting. This is definitely, everybody's talking about the good, okay? And absolutely, there's definitely some good in this. There's just three things that are really bad that I'm going to disclose in just a minute that people aren't even seeing. It's not in the fine print and it's not anywhere, okay? So number one, as far as the good, people are going to save $4 to $10. You guys are going to save every time you go to buy or sell a stock. You're going to save $4 to $10 every single time, versus before, every single time you bought or sold a stock, regardless of how much money you put in it, you had to pay $4 to $10 out of that. And I know from when I started in the stock market, when you have smaller amounts of money, man, that stinks. Like $4 to $10 each time when you start and you're just like investing your first $100 or a couple $100 in the market, maybe even your first $1,000. If you have to pay a $10 fee just to buy that stock, right? You just pay the first 1% you make on that stock, it basically goes to the fact that you bought that stock, right? And then when you sell that stock, you have to pay another 1% fee, another $10, right? So all of a sudden you need 2% to make on that stock before you even start really making money on that stock overall because of the commissions, okay? So it's phenomenal. All of us get to save money. All you guys out there, you get to save money on that, okay? Also, more people can get in the market a lot easier because now they'll go ahead and look at this and they'll say, hey, I don't even have to pay a trade commission. Now I can start investing in the stock market. Because before, when it was like $10 a trade, even $5 a trade, a lot of people look at that and they're like, man, I don't even want to start in the market. Now, any amount of money you can get in the market. $50 you can get in the market. $100 you can get in the market, okay? When I first started in the stock market and I was making my first investments, which were usually between like $250 and $500 at a time, I was paying a $19.95 commission. Shortly after I got in the market, the prices dropped. But think about this for a moment. Think about prior to the mid 1990s, right? 1995, 1998, the internet blows up. It becomes this huge thing, right? All of a sudden, people start buying and selling stocks online. We move throughout the 2000s. But prior to the mid 90s, if you wanted to buy or sell a stock, you needed to have a brokerage account set up with a firm, and you needed to call in a trade. You needed to dial a number on your cell phone. Well, cell phones, a lot of people didn't even have cell phones. So from your home phone and say, Hey, blah, 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 I want to sell some Microsoft stock today. Hey, I want to buy Microsoft stock at, this price point or something like that. You had to literally call in to place your trade. And that wasn't that long ago, okay? That was in my lifetime, okay? And usually it was between $30 and $40 every time you called in to place a trade. Very, very expensive and definitely a hassle for most people, okay? Think about it now. Like you could be at work and sell out of a position completely right on your phone in a matter of seconds, right? It was not that easy back in the day. So, the whole brokerage model of being online, now being apps, now being free, it's allowed everybody to get in. Like back in the day, you had to send in like a physical check. Now you can just like electronically transfer funds over, okay? And so that's why the market really got this like reputation as only being for like bigger investors, because like it was expensive and it was complicated to get in the market, man. It was like, you had to physically send like mailing letters back and forth, and like they needed these forms from you and these forms. Now you can set up a brokerage account in a matter of minutes on your phone. Like it's just a complete game change, okay? So as we moved throughout the mid 2000s, things got cheaper. Like I said, when I started in the market, it was about $19.95 to place trades, and some people thought that was cheap. Then as the years moved on, we got closer to 2009, 2010, all of a sudden, like Fidelity and a lot of other players, they dropped down to about $5 commissions they charged on stocks. Robinhood came around in like 2012, 2013, the Robinhood app came around, and that gave a ton of competition for Fidelity, TDAmeritrade, Etrade, Scottrade. All those companies got a ton of competition. When the Robinhood app came in, that just, completely changed the marketplace. Robinhood's become this huge, huge thing, and now all of a sudden it's becoming the standard to have basically no fees, okay? But as we spoke about, as with all things in life, there's some good things that come with that and there's some bad things, okay? And we're gonna get into those 3 bad things now, okay? First thing is options. Let's talk about options for a moment. So, options trading, highly, highly dangerous, all right? Highly, highly dangerous. And generally speaking, options trades have been between $8 and could be all the way up to $12 per option trade. And the fact that all these brokerages are now offering option trades free, it really does scare me, because 90% to 95% of investors in the market don't belong anywhere near options, okay? There are some option strategies that can make it even less risky to be in the market, but let's be completely honest with ourselves. When people are thinking about options, they're usually thinking about doing one of 2 things: buying put options on a stock or buying call options, okay? There's a lot of different option strategies, and I know them all, and I teach them in my different courses and whatnot, but at the end of the day, options trading, most people getting involved only think about, I'm gonna buy call options on the stock because I think it's gonna go up a ton over the next month or a few months or the next year, or I'm buying put options, okay? I've been in the market for over 10 years. Do you know how many option positions I have open right now across my 7 stock market accounts? 1. I have 1 options trade, and it's some long-term Facebook options. I think at a strike price of $170 or $180 or something like that. That's expiring in, I think it's January 2021. I have 1 options trade open out of all my stock market accounts right now. I don't even mess with options that often because it is usually not worth it. And most of us, you can get an idea of buying a great company in the future, but trying to time out this stock price is going to this price by this date, it's nearly impossible. And people get really excited. They see things like this. Oh, this trader, he made 1,300% on his money in a matter of minutes. People see stories like that and they get real excited around options, and they're like, oh my gosh, what? Somebody made 1,300% on their money. They 13x'd their money in a matter of minutes. What am I doing? I need to get in on this option stuff, man. This sounds freaking amazing, right? I live in the city of Las Vegas, all right? Sometimes here people hit, these progressive jackpots. They go to a slot machine. Look at this one. This person hit 13 million. A lucky Arizona resident is $13 million richer after hitting a slot machine jackpot over the weekend at Sunset Station in Henderson. The player won a progressive jackpot worth $13.1 million Sunday while playing the IGT blah, blah, blah. The gambler began playing the slot machine at about 8:30 a.m. on a Sunday. After inserting $40 within 2 minutes, they hit the $13 million jackpot. Oh my gosh, it just makes it sound so easy. You're telling me they put $40 in and they got $13 million out in less than 2 minutes. That's the greatest ROI. That makes Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett look like a couple of jokers, right? Until you realize, like, most people lose money. And the same exact thing with options trading. You hear some story about some guy made a ton of money in such a quick amount of time on options. Most folks are losing money on options. That's just a bottom line. Most option contracts expire worthless. This is a fact. This is not opinion. Options trading, highly dangerous for most investors. And the fact that also now you can place $0 fee on these option trades, it definitely worries me for a lot of people, because most people don't belong anywhere near options. It's a thing you should use very sparingly when you see a great opportunity and it's like, this makes sense, you can go after it, okay? But most of the time it doesn't make sense. That's reason number one, the whole $0 trade commission scares me. Number two reason is when it comes to thinking things through. Now let's go back to when I started in the stock market, right? So I really had to think things through when I made a move out there, right? Because I only had a few $100 to place at a time, right? As far as my moves, and it was $1995 every time. So whenever I went to buy a stock, I had to get in good habits right off the bat, and I had to think, is my money being in the best position possible? And I had to think about this 100 different times before I ever bought that stock, because I knew going in it was $19.95 every time I bought that stock and every time I sold that stock. And even when they dropped it down to like $9.95, I still had to think, and let's say I was placing $500 to $1,000 moves at a time, still had to think, hey man, I gotta pay $10 just to buy this stock and another $10 to sell this. I had to always think and get in good habits early on of making the best move possible with my money. Now, all of a sudden you say $0, all of a sudden people will start thinking they don't have to think as hard at the end of the day, because they're not even paying that trade commission. The only risk now is that you lose money on the stock and it goes down over time. Whereas before, when you had actual trade commissions in, you had to think about, okay, I could potentially lose money on the stock, but also I have to pay this fee in the trade commission, and I have to pay this trade commission, and if I don't make that money back, I made a bad move, right? You had to really think things through. Now, all of a sudden it's like, man, let's just throw some money at some stocks, and I see a lot of people doing that, and that's just a big mistake. You want to get in the best habits possible early on in this game, so they set you up for the next 5, 10, 15 years. If you get in bad habits right off the bat, it's going to hurt you immensely over time, okay? So that's reason number two that scares me, just people not thinking this through because it's so cheap to place these trades now. Let's get into number three. Reason number three, this whole $0 brokerage trade commission scares me, is it could produce investors that trade way too often. Once again, we're thinking about this, right? Every time you buy or sell a stock, and let's say you have to pay a trade commission of $5 to $10, if you're doing smaller amounts of money, you have to think about that every time. It's like, do I really want to sell out of this stock today? I have to pay $10 to sell the stock. Do I really want to sell out of the stock? I have to pay $5. Now, even if you're doing smaller amounts of money, you're able to trade in and out shares because you're not paying any cost. So this puts it in a situation where people can trade way too often. And what we found from research in the stock market, this is fact-based stuff, is the more often people trade, the lower returns they get. The name of this game is to make great fundamental decisions going in and sell as a few times as possible. Place as few trades as possible when it comes to selling. And you have a lot of folks that trade way too often as it is, and so they underperform the market. They underperform the market because they're in and out of stocks, in and out of stocks, in and out of stocks. And when you're talking about they don't even have to pay a trade commission on that, it just takes it up to a whole new level, because now you're like, dude, I can buy and sell these stocks and I don't even have to pay a trade commission. I can sell my Apple stock today, jump in Google stock, and I had to pay nothing. And then I can jump back from Google stock to Apple stock and I paid nothing. If all of a sudden you're paying $5 or $10 each time, now you really need to think, is this my best opportunity? Is this the smartest idea to sell my Apple stock and jump into Google and then jump back from Google into Apple? You have to actually think about this. But when there's no trade commission in there, now it's just you can blindlessly think about, let me just make this move, guys. And so the $0, commission now, you basically place these trades for free. There's a lot of good that comes with it, but as with all things in life, there's definitely some bad, and I can definitely see this hurting some individuals who are now going to say, oh my gosh, I can place option trades for free. Let me go ahead and start doing that. I'm going to be the next one making 1,000% of my money in 5 minutes. I can definitely see some folks saying, you know what, I don't need to think this through as much. Let me just start throwing money. And that's usually dangerous things, guys. So there's absolutely some bad that comes with this. Although overall, there's definitely some good because, you know, us that have been in the market for a while, you know, with all these brokerage houses going to $0 fee, we don't have to pay the fees anymore. And that's freaking phenomenal for us, guys. So hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, make sure you smash that thumbs up button and share this out with somebody you know that's a stock market investor. Thank you for watching and have a great day.